Exactly 6 years ago today, I signed the contract, a rolling 6-monthly contract, to take up residency here in Granville. So I thought I would look back on what happened to lead me to that point, and where we sort of been from there. I finished up in London in the fall of 2005, and disappointingly, because I came to the end of my employment contract down there at precisely the same moment as I managed to break my fingers and couldn't work, I was forced out of London and back up jobless to my parents. The plan had never been to leave London at all. It just ended up that way. There was an immediate sense that from both sides, the party, I suppose, that I regain my independence as soon as possible. My parents were used to being free of children by that point, and I, of course, had spent the last 2 years living well away from them, and we both all found it a little difficult to be stuck in the same house, trying to do the same, trying to still have our independence. So when I got a job in October and the money started coming in, the first thing we were saving up for was the ability to move out into a new flat. The price range had to be right and the distance from work had to be right, and we looked at 2 places. The first place was a little studio flat on Franklin Road somewhere, near Franklin Mount, and my mother came with me for that one, and we didn't like it. The second place I came was with my father, and that was here to Granville Road. Now, there are a few reasons why I picked this place to move into. I liked the fact that it was off the floor. It was not a ground floor flat. I liked that. It was close to work, very, very close to work, as close as my parents live, but on the other side. It was also in the right price range at the time. We thought quite a bargain. As for the space, it's a decent-sized flat. The living room and the bedroom are very big, to be totally honest, for the amount that we're paying. And because I didn't know what to look for when I first looked round, I could not see any of the cracks, if you pardon the pun, and the state of the house. It looked surface good from a glance, and I thought, yes. 2 features I liked of the house were the pelmet sliding door. I loved that, and that is a feature that I like in houses, and a feature that's also in the I can reveal in the Jennyfields property as well. They're like blast doors. They're not on pelmets, but they are blast doors, and they sort of fold in and out of the wall on sort of sliders. The other thing I liked was the steps down to the bathroom. And again, in Jennyfields, you see, one of the nice things that I like, one of the nice features, is the open plan spiral staircase. So, perhaps I haven't changed in what I find nice about features of houses, I don't know. So anyway, we signed and we moved in. Now, what have we done since moving in? Well, the first thing that happened really was, because I was in so much debt, I couldn't really afford to do much, so most of my hours outside of work became trapped, I suppose you could say, online. I was interested at the time in martial arts, mixed martial arts, but only since having moved back from London. And so I joined Matt Hughes Forum, and I sort of grew in stature there, I suppose. It started with posting on an evening after tea, watching a movie, and then posting again late at night. It moved from that in a matter of months to coming home and just posting all night until bed, which was about 4 or 5, 6 hours. And I racked up a huge amount of posts, and once the forum leaders sort of left for various reasons, I ended up being top dog, I suppose. And when moderating things were being dished out, I ended up with one. You know, by this time I had also got into the gotten out of that debt, and I began to go to mixed martial arts events myself. In 2008 I got the ability to record films, and that was really where things took off. And ever since then, you know, I've been doing video blogs, I've been doing predictions, I've been growing online, but not just on the forum, but also on MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. Finally, I was allowed to have pets. I had Franklin the guinea pig for a while, but he was not legitimate in terms of my landlord. I was never supposed to have him, really. But I was eventually allowed to have pets, and I decided to have birds. And I had gens for a year, and then suddenly I had hundreds of birds, and they all started having babies, and I started breeding them. During that time also, I went on my States tours. I went on one in 2007 and one in 2009, and it was when I came back from that second one that things changed majorly. I then wanted to move out. I then wanted something more. It was a frustrating time after that, because 2010 was not a good year at all. 2011, although it was a spectacular year, you know, the one thing that was missing all the way through was leaving Granville, starting afresh somewhere else. And that's basically what's happened in the last sort of 4 months, and brings me nicely on to my next topic, which is what's happened in the last 2 weeks, because obviously last time you heard from me directly we were at the valuation stage, and then we had the bicentenary, so you don't know what's happened in the week before and the week after. So the week before, I discovered that the valuation wasn't going ahead, and it wasn't going ahead because the banks had done the figures wrong. They'd got my payslips from the financial advisor, who was also on holiday, so his deputy sent them, and they had assumed that I was paid on a calendar month and not a lunar month, and so suddenly I had lost £1,000, and because of that, when they worked out how much they could loan me, it was not enough to cover the house. Now, I only discovered this by chance when I phoned the bank on a related but not direct issue, and they told me that they had told the financial advisors this 4 days before, and I'd not heard anything of it. So I, of course, immediately emailed the financial advisor, and then spent the rest of the afternoon at work worrying terribly. I thought we'd lost the house. And when I got home and the financial advisor had sent me an email saying the same as the bank, I phoned my father and said, I don't know what's going on. And he said, look, the banks have made a mistake. You need to explain that it's 4 weekly on the lunar calendar and not a monthly calendar. And when they redid the figures, they discovered that, oh yes, suddenly it worked. My financial advisor knew this and hadn't told them, basically. And I think he sort of blamed me a little, because when I went into the estates I asked them, you know, the week after when the valuation was going on, they said, well, you know, it's been delayed because of this, because blah blah was on holiday and you had to send the pay slips in directly. And I said, no, I didn't send them in directly. And I thought, well, that's a nice way of trying to make me culpable for the the payslip cock-up. Anyway, so this week the moral of the tale is that it has happened. The valuation has happened. The valuation was booked, took place, was successful, and I got my mortgage offer for the right amount, which is fantastic. The lawyers have also been busy and have given me a copy of the contract package as it stands. We've had a look at it, and we do have questions, so does she, and we're now waiting for the answers of those questions, and I hope on Monday we shall probably get the answers to them and they shall be good, and we shall also then have a completion date and be able to do signing of contracts, exchange and that sort of thing. Prayer requests. I have two prayer requests. The first one is for Conrad, who is going on holiday but a bit concerned about his travel arrangements. And the second prayer request is from a friend on the forum who is trying to help bereaved friends who have recently lost a loved one to suicide. So we are praying for both of those. Look out also as my UFC on FX recap video is out, and my UFC on Fox 2 predictions video goes up. So it's no rest for the wicked there.